And finally, we arrive to the last but not least type of anaestrus, that is anaestrus type 4. This is the only one where we have a Cl. In the first three anaestrus, we have different physiological situation. In type 1, no deviation. In type 2, deviation but regression because we have a problem with the LH pulse. In type 3, we have normally deviation of the first, the second, and eventually the third follicular dominant follicle in a free follicular wave scout, but no ovulation because there is a failure of the LH surge. In this case, there is ovulation. We have a corpus luteum, but no luteolysis. Why? Because luteolysis is possible thanks to the prostaglandin, PGF2 alpha produced from endometrium. If the endometrium is affected from an inflammation or an infection, well, in this case, we have sometimes we have not the regression because of the corpus luteum, because no enough PGF2 alpha is produced, and we have a persistent CL. I believe that the most important is to be able to distinguish between true anaestrus and untrue anaestrus. Unfortunately, 70% of the cow that we are not able to see in it are untrue anaestrus, and the problem is not because we have a problem in the follicular waves, but because there is a very, very poor efficiency of the heat detection. And we have also a small number, between 8–10% of cow with sealant heat, but are only a small number. The major part of the cow that we don't see in it are cows that are normally sickling cows. So probably we have to increase, like Paul have told in the second presentation of today, we have to work to increase the quality of the heat detection. The second point, that the accuracy of the diagnosis. Without a good diagnosis, it's not possible to do a correct therapy. And we can change the hormones. We can use natural prostaglandin instead of synthetic, or synthetic instead of natural. We can use buserelin or gonadorelin or other generates, but finally the result is always the same. If we have not done a correct diagnosis, the result will be very, very bad. I believe that it's time to finish a war between palpators and ultrasonographer. I believe that I always tell the same, I do the same example. If I take a donkey and I put on the neck of this donkey an ultrasound unit, is not transformed in a gynecologist, but all the gynecologists today are working probably with an ultrasound unit. I believe that it's time to understand that ultrasonography could help us not only for anaestrus diagnosis, but also to increase the quality of our evaluation in ovary and uterus physiopathology, and not only to start an early pregnancy check from 35 to 30 or from 30 to 25. This is a very big limitation of these fantastic techniques. And I believe that we are looking only the point of the iceberg and the opportunity that we can discover if we try to apply this technique not only for pregnancy check or for fetal sex, but for ovary and uterus physiopathology. I believe that it's very important to define the different typology of anaestrus, because permit the clinician to have an evaluation, indirect evaluation about the quality of the transition cow, nutrition and management of this period. And could be interesting because if we have an higher level of anaestrus type 1 and type 2, mean that we have a very, very deep negative energy balance. So we have to work probably on the structure, on the nutrition, on the management. But above all, we have to increase probably the quality of the education of our dairy workers. I like to remember that is a mistake, consider all the cysts like a pathological situation. There are 30% of follicular cysts with a good CL. And I want to remember that personally, I don't give too much importance to the size of the cyst. Milo Wiltebank introduced a new terminology some years ago, defining anaestrus type 2 like small cyst. So the size of the cyst is not too much important. What is important is the persistence of the cyst and the absence of a CL. I believe that we have not to be too much aggressive in the therapy. I like to start the therapy. I like to start to do a diagnosis of anaestrus, and so to start to understand what to do only at the end of the voluntary waiting period. I don't believe that to be too much aggressive, starting a therapy of an anaestrus type 4 at day 20, 30, or a cyst, starting a therapy for cyst type 2 or type 3 before the end of the voluntary waiting period is useful or help our clients to gain more. But above all, I believe that without a correct diagnosis, it's impossible a profitable therapy. Thank you very much for your attention.